Sounds good.
Hey guys, this is Dr. Bill Rankus with Movement First Physical Therapy, and you are listening to Be Well and Thrive podcast. I am here today with a special guest, Michael Palevo of Your Fitness Solutions. He helps people with various goals, including weight loss, strength gain, and general physical wellness by not only training them, but by teaching them and empowering them how to be self-sufficient and train for themselves. Michael, welcome. Thank you for joining me. I'd love to just give you a chance to give everyone a little bit of a background as to who you are, kind of where you come from, and kind of what got you into the fitness world.
Sure, man. Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited to talk to you and your audience, and just help everybody stay fit through this fun time. So yeah, man. So originally I'm from Nashville, Tennessee. My wife and I moved to the Raleigh area around like August of last year. So in Nashville, I did cardiac and pulmonary rehab with Vanderbilt. So dealing with heart transplants, lung transplants. And then I also did some stuff with the Nashville Predators, which is pretty neat. So did a lot of exercise testing and stuff like that. My background is in exercise science. Have two master's degrees, one in biomechanics and the other in exercise physiology. So I always grew up being very active. So I was a professional cyclist for a little bit. So I raced competitively and did all that, and as I was transitioning out of that phase of my life, I was tired of being this 6 foot, 140 pound scrawny guy, and I had all this experience with strength training. I was like, yeah, I kind of want to see what I can do. And from there, just designing my own workout programs, nutrition programs. Before I knew it, I was starting this online personal training company, which was like a side hustle while I was working at Vanderbilt. And then it turned into me starting Your Fitness Solutions, which is a, one-on-one personal training and nutrition consulting company. So.
Wow, that's awesome. I didn't know you were a pro cyclist,
Yeah.
and then awesome that you have the experience of working with a professional team.
Yeah.
And then also the field of cardiac rehab. So you kind of have a whole bunch of different umbrellas that you're under.
People from two sides of the spectrum, literally, professional athletes where you see that like 0.5% gain in performance to people that just got a new heart that are just wanting to live a functional life. And it's, both
get up without out of breath.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it was, amazing. I loved it.
That's
both sides of it. So.
That's wonderful. That's such a broad spectrum of experience. What would you say the biggest, I think I remember you mentioned in our first conversation that you noticed that there was a huge difference in what you're bringing to professional athletes and what you're bringing to even the cardiac rehab world, and the difference between that and what the general population received. What would you say kind of the biggest difference you saw that they got?
Yeah. So, I mean, if you're working with professional athletes, they have everything on the highest level. So not just equipment, but the people that are surrounding them, they have years and years of experience, that education and that pedigree behind it, which allows them to just have so many different avenues to be able to work with. And same with, the heart and lung transplant. When I applied to do cardiopulmonary rehab, it's required you have one master's degree and certain certifications that you have to have. You had to have that master's degree to get the certification, just because you're working with such a high risk population that somebody that just has not the bash the online certifications, but there's only one avenue for them to really focus on. Whereas if you go through the schooling and the education and these certifications, you have a broad array of knowledge and experience that comes with that. And, with the general public, I was seeing, trainers that just the programming was horrible, that they were doing all of these, either going from 0 to 100 with the personal training, somebody that's never done anything before, all of a sudden doing complex movements that they shouldn't be doing. They don't know how to properly teach them the right movement patterns, to, diet and nutrition, which I'm not an expert at that, but I feel like it doesn't take an expert to know that going from one extreme to the next tends to not work out.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. Why do you think that it is so that's something that you struck a note there. Why do you think it is so hard for people to work it out, in your words, in a way for people to stick or get into fitness, not only get into fitness, but then stick with it?
Yeah. When we talked the other day, I think I brought up the point of people going from, it's a lifestyle change, so you're not just changing one aspect. You're not just changing something small. It's a big lifestyle change. And people tend to, instead of doing it incrementally and over time, they'd like to do it all at once because they think that's going to help them get the fastest results. And it's a marathon. It's not a 50-yard sprint. So you have to take it day by day, essentially slowly build up to where you're doing not just working out multiple days a week, but also eating the proper foods. You're not starving yourself. You're doing everything in moderation. And that's what I preach to all of my clients and everybody that I talk to is it's moderation. And that comes from, not just eating, but also working out. Like I said, I want somebody to be healthy years after they stop working with me.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, that great segue there. You say that you want people to be kind of healthy years after working with you. I was going to ask what's kind of unique for your business and your training compared to what other people provide, and then also on top of that, I'd love for you to touch a little bit about what you do in terms of education and trying to empower people.
Definitely, man, definitely. So independence is a huge component of all of my programs. So if somebody signs up with me, they know that they're just not going to get me for an hour, 1 or 2 days a week, and then they're not going to hear from me again. So I try to build structure around them. So somebody works out with me 3 days a week, let's say. So Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I'm going to give that person, I call it homework, give them workouts to do on that Tuesday, Thursday, or whatever other days. They're getting at least two or three more workouts that are structured. So one, they have that accountability throughout the entire week. They know that they could call on me if they need, but they're also I'm teaching them independence. So they could work out by themselves to an extent. It's a structured workout so they don't have to know exactly. They don't have to create their own thing. It's me designing it for them, but they get to take themselves through it. And I feel like the reason a lot of my clients see that success while they're working with me and then after is because, I literally just pound it over and over again where it's like, all right, you have to do this in order to see success in 6 years from now.
Right. There has to be that buy-in.
Exactly.
That's amazing. That's awesome. What else do you think that you bring from your experience with, as you said, the cardiac rehab, as well as the professional sports, as well as being a professional athlete yourself? What other things do you feel like you can bring to the table?
Yeah, I mean, I've been there when it comes to struggling with certain aspects of fitness and nutrition, so, and I've seen it from two ends of the spectrum. So somebody, let's say a professional athlete, they may have everything's usually lined up for them. So their workouts, their nutrition, everything is structured. And then you go to somebody that's getting a heart or lung transplant. A lot of their lives are structured, medication, working out. So they have to go to cardiac rehab, usually 5 days a week. But their nutrition usually isn't that structured. And then you go to the general public where nothing is structured. And then, for myself, I was, like 140 pounds, and it took a lot for me to really build up the strength and the body composition. So now, before all this, I was getting ready for a bodybuilding competition. The heaviest I was like 200 pounds. So, and it wasn't like it was fat. It was like somewhat lean mass. So like I've been there. I've been through the struggle where it's taking seven years to get to that point.
Yeah.
And just being able to say, you know, it's not going to happen overnight.
Right.
You know, progressions are not going to happen overnight. And really just trying to, like, everybody struggles with it. Even though I'm training somebody, I have my own struggles when it comes to, you know, certain aspects of fitness and nutrition. I'm not the best eater in the world. You know, my wife will be the first to say it. I hate eating vegetables. I hate eating veggies. And, you know, it's something that you have to slowly do. You can't just go from eating out 7 times a week to 0, because you'll just burn out. So it's you have to do it over time, and that's what everything's about. So.
Yeah, definitely. You'd mentioned already that it's a marathon. It's not a sprint, and I think that is so true, because so many people think, oh, beach season's coming up, I gotta get in shape now. But in reality, it's like you said, also it's a lifestyle change. It's day by day, trying to do the right things. And you teach them the right things, and it sounds like you also give them that structure. And so, you know, that's even something that I find in my physical fitness is wanting to be somewhere and being like, oh man, but ultimately thinking, okay, just, you know, eat something, don't eat something well, do the right thing, go exercise now, and then day by day, over time, it'll progress. And I think that's huge for people.
For sure.
Even in the therapy world too, you know, people will come in and they'll have years of movement problems, and then they have this discomfort, and then, you know, within 2-3 visits, they're like, you know, why am I not better? And I say, well, how long have you been in pain? 10 years. Oh, okay. Well, let's keep working at it. You're making progress. You know, let's as long as we keep making progress, we'll keep looking at your goals. But yeah, something that you made me think of, and something that I've also dealt with is with fitness, is mindset. How much do you have to work with people's mindsets to help them get through, stick with, continue, and be successful with their fitness?
Yeah, man, that's honestly the hardest part. You know, it's 100% of it, because it's, you know, one of the first questions I ask is, you know, what's your why?
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like, you know, if you have a strong why, then you'll be able to get to the gym at 5 a.m. because that's the only time you're gonna be able to work out is 5 a.m.
Right.
There's gonna be days where it's freezing cold outside or it's pouring rain, and the last thing you want to do is get up at 4 o'clock to get ready to go to the gym and then work for 8 or 9 or 10 hours a day.
Right.
And, you know, I try to pull in, like, what is your why? So this is a pretty cool story. So one of my first clients, he used to work with me at Vanderbilt, and, you know, he was a bigger guy and he wanted to lose weight. And, you know, I'm talking to him like, I'm like, yo, like, what's your goal? Like, what's your why? Like, what's driving you? And this was like the most powerful thing I've ever heard. He was like, I want to live to see my kids grow older. And he had kids that were 6 years old, or maybe like 5 and 3 at the time. And he was like, he was afraid that if he was going to make those changes, he wasn't going to be able to see his kids, you know, be adults. And I was like, man, and he worked harder than anybody I've ever met. And then within a year, I think we were down like 70 or 80 pounds.
Amazing.
He never missed one single workout. He never missed one single meal. He never missed one single weigh-in. He was on it.
Mm-hmm.
And I tell that story to other clients that were wanting to train with me. And I'm like, yo, like what's your why?
Mm-hmm.
I want to look out on the beach. Yeah, well, that's, you know, then COVID-19 comes and the beaches are closed. So then what?
Yeah, right.
And so, you know, I want to go off of certain cardiac medication, or I'm pre-diabetic, working out, and it's going to help lower my blood glucose and my A1C. I'm stressed out all the time. Stress raises your cortisol levels, and it's going to increase inflammation and everything else. And, you know, it's trying to find exactly, drawing out what's driving that person. And 9 times out of 10, if that person doesn't have a strong why or their mindset's off by a little bit, they're not going to make it. And I see that more than I would like, unfortunately.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I was just gonna ask, like, do you see it more in the long term, like workout to workout, or do you see it within workouts as well, like the mindset, being able to, and I'm sure that's helpful when you're there with them, but
Yeah.
a mindset of getting, so not skipping that last set, not skipping that last rep, or not dropping down in weight or something, trying to having that mindset of being able to get through things, um, even though they're hard.
Yeah. Yeah. Really, it's not really within the workout.
Yeah.
I've never really had anybody that was like, I'm done in the middle
Yeah.
of it. Cause I would be like, yo, like, what are you doing here?
Right. But do you have people who don't do the workouts that you're not?
100%, 100%. And then they try to play the blame game. Well,
Right.
this, and you, and I'm like, yo, like you literally, like you're not logging your food. So I know that your macros are off.
Hmm.
So, you're not doing what I'm telling you to do. Like if you stick to the program, it works. I'm not a magician. But then, like I said, it's those people, and they'll slowly start to fall off. So they'll skip one workout,
Right.
and then a couple weeks later they'll skip two workouts, and then I never hear from them again.
Yeah.
And it's, some people, they, like I said, it comes down to that mindset. You have to have that drive. You have to have that that fight in you to actually get there, because it's like it takes somebody that it took 10 years to put on 70 pounds. It's not going to get reversed in a matter of weeks, or even or a matter of months. And to be able to keep it off, it's you have to have that drive, man. You have to have that goal. So
Yeah. Well, it's awesome that you provide that accountability. That's huge. To be, some trainers will, say, look at it and not say anything. Whereas if you're calling people out on stuff, it helps keep them accountable, helps them stick on the program, helps them get to what they want to do,
yeah.
which is awesome.
Most unfortunately for some trainers, it's just the way for them to make money. They could care less if that client sticks with them or not. But for me, it's a genuine want to actually get that person. Because when I get a text message from my clients with their weight that's down, and they show me the progress pics, man, I get more amped up than they do. Like I'm ready to like jump through the ceiling.
That's
And
awesome.
it's that sense of enjoyment and excitement that's my high.
Yeah.
That's why I started my business,
Yeah.
was for that.
That's
And
part of your why, I'm sure.
what was that?
That's part of your why.
Oh, 100%, 100%. Um,
That's awesome.
yeah, definitely.
That's awesome. Something that this conversation makes me think of it, that I should do, and I don't know if you have ever done this, but have someone schedule. I've read that it's good to schedule a daily reminder of why you're doing something. So like a reminder every time at 3 o'clock when you're ready
Yeah,
to reach for a snack on your way home, or at the end of the day, say, be there for your daughter's wedding or something. Like that's kind of why I exercise, is I want to be there for my daughter as she grows, just like that gentleman that you're talking about.
yeah.
Um, so having that daily reminder. Have you ever had people set that at all?
They do. I've had people do it on, like, they would tell me, like, on their fridge. Don't whatever. They'll have their goal, what it is,
Right.
stuff like that. I mean, I know I do it for
Mhm.
not necessarily for fitness or nutrition stuff, but more for like running, running a company. It's more than just a 9 to 5.
Certainly.
So there's Saturdays and Sundays where I'm like, or it's like last night I was up until about 2 in the morning editing my YouTube video for today that I had to get done. I
Mhm.
was like, why am I doing this right now? And it's that why that, like, I would have stayed up, I would have pulled an all-nighter if I had to get it done the way that I knew it needed to get done. And I feel like, setting those reminders or having them visible. I have my whiteboard over here that has, what my goals are for each month. And I break it down with, client numbers, YouTube videos, social media engagement, stuff like that. And, and then what my why is, what my goal, like why I'm trying to accomplish that.
Right.
Um, but yeah, everybody needs it.
It's
Everybody.
all for your clients. It's all for your clients. So that's amazing that you're you are, you're sacrificing some of your life because your life is to help others. And that's
For
awesome.
sure. Definitely.
Amazing. That's amazing. Let's get to know you a little bit now that we kind of went a little bit on a road of learning about your opinion on fitness world. And what are your 3 favorite things about working or training people?
Yeah, I'm very much a people person. I like, that's why right now I'm literally going crazy because I can't interact with as many people as I want. I love talking to people. I love meeting new people. You know, between that and just yeah, I mean, I feel like that's, yeah, I just love helping people.
That's
And I
awesome.
feel like I have a really good gift at helping people achieve, their, physical and nutritional goals. So,
Perfect.
yeah,
Perfect.
yeah.
If you could, what would you say your biggest strength and your biggest limit is in your ability to kind of help people, whether it's lose weight, gain strength, teach them? What would
Yeah.
you say your biggest strength is, and then what would you say your biggest limitation is?
Biggest strength, um, I feel like I have so much experience when it comes to changing movement patterns or recognizing, so if somebody has low back pain, which is most people nowadays, trying to figure out, okay, like you sit for most of the day, your hips are probably tight, your IT band's probably tight, your core is a little weak, let's try to fix those things, and go from there. See if that corrects it over time. Um, and then, new movement patterns is a huge thing for me. Seeing somebody squat, I could, if somebody squats the wrong way, I could automatically pick out, okay, let's change the angle of our knees, drive your hips back, keep that spine nice and neutral, stuff like that.
Right.
It's something that I definitely pride myself on.
Yeah. Attention to detail.
Exactly. What weakness, I am by far not a supplement guru. I could get, I know enough to help people, but if somebody's trying to talk like super specific, like this is, trying to think right now. Yeah, it's not my forte of going into like super chemistry level
Yeah.
supplements. So,
Do you have someone that you point people to? Yeah.
100%. Yeah. There's he actually owns a nutrition shop right across from my apartment complex.
Okay.
Richard, what's his name?
We can put it in
Yeah.
the comments or something.
Yeah. He was an IFBB pro bodybuilder.
Cool.
I connected with him shortly after I moved here. And yeah, I mean, I walked in there day one and we literally talked for like an hour and a half about supplements. And he was helping me out with, all right, like, let's like choose this pre-workout over this, because this one's going to have DHMA, which is going to help you with a little bit more focus compared to this. So it's like, okay.
Meanwhile, your cogs are like, what are you saying?
Exactly. But yeah, for sure.
Cool. All right. What's something that you feel that you want people to know about your field that you don't think they know?
Yeah, I feel like, and one of my professors, I think it was undergrad, he said it best. A lot of the people that did exercise science as an undergrad were athletes. And he was like, just because you're an athlete doesn't mean you know how to properly work out, how to properly program, and go to in-depth exercise prescription. And I was like, all right, yeah, for sure. And taking that into like the general public, just because you go on a social media and this guy that looks fit, he may not be the best guy to look at for exercise advice.
Right.
So there are people that have that experience, that have that education, that can actually help you. If something doesn't work, it doesn't mean that exercise is bad. It doesn't mean that exercise is not going to work. It was just wrong for you.
Yeah.
So everything is super specific to each individual. So yeah, it's yeah, you have to figure out exactly what's going to work for you as a person.
Yeah, absolutely. That's great. What would you think is one thing you would change in the fitness world that that's going on right now?
I would censor it. I would make people have to back up what they say,
Hmm.
what they claim. And it goes back to the social media thing. There's just because somebody has a big following doesn't mean they know anything about it. They could
Right.
have the world's best genetics, and that's why they have great arms, broad chest, shredded abs. Um, I would, for me, because I see it all the time. People they would post something, and they automatically, somebody will think, oh, this is how it has to get done.
Right.
I'm like, no, I probably wouldn't do that.
Right.
Since you have ever deadlifted in your entire life, I
Right.
probably wouldn't do any kind of complex movements where you're going to put your back or anything at risk.
Right. Right. How
Um,
far would you how far would you go with that? Like, are you saying that you'd want things um, evidence based, or would you just say that you want someone to have some?
I would make it where it's, if the audience are trying to, it depend. I think it has to be dependent on who they're trying to reach.
Mhm.
So if they're trying to reach the elderly, the 60 plus population, they have to have some kind of experience or education in that, in order to actually be able to, like,
Right.
um, put their stuff out there. And or somebody that's a female that's trying to market to 20 to 30-year-old women on how to grow their legs. I feel like women, that's the only thing to do is grow their legs. But most of the stuff that you see out there is wrong, and it's not actually helping add muscle. It's just
Yeah. Where do you
working.
think that comes from?
People want the easy way out. I feel like it just comes to, they think that if somebody's just doing these workouts, then that's how it has to be.
So the consumer.
The consumer, yeah, yeah.
Gotcha. So the consumer wants that quick fix, wants that
Yeah,
quick bullet pill type of thing, the thing that'll
yeah,
fix things. Yeah, I
yeah.
understand that. I understand that.
And
Um,
unfortunately, as you have to market to that, because if you're not preaching, oh, I can help you get a six pack in 8 weeks, nobody's going to want the six pack that takes 6 months to get. They want to get it in 6 weeks. You know what I mean? So you have to unfortunately, you have to market,
get a game type of thing.
but making it realistic, I
Interesting.
guess.
That's
Yeah.
interesting. Um, I guess that would, for me, that makes me think of what would be when it comes to that stuff. It comes back to our conversation of why, right? Why are we doing this? Yes, you want to help as many people as you want, but maybe if they're in that mindset, they're not necessarily at the point where they're ready for your why, or they don't have their why. They might
Yeah,
be.
and there have been people that have actually turned away, just because I felt like they're not ready to commit to this. You know, my big thing is I value their time and their money. I want them to value my time. If I have a feeling of they're either gonna be canceling a lot, they're not motivated, they're just coming to say that they have a personal trainer,
Right.
which that's the case. It's all about status, and I don't want that coming back on me, because I value the I want to be able to actually help people. So
Right.
if I have somebody that's just going through the motions week after week, to me that's not worth my time.
Yeah, I totally understand. Um, it's a drain. It's a drain when you um, feel used almost, right? Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
totally understand. Totally understand. What are some things that you do to keep your body healthy?
yeah. I mean,
Besides workout.
before all this happened, man, I was working out 6, 7 days a week.
Wow.
But I also have a lot of experience. I don't suggest that. For
Sure.
me, working out is my therapy session.
Gotcha.
I put my headphones in, listen to my music. Nobody talks to me. I don't talk to anybody. That's my hour and a half to just focus on me and what I'm going through for that day and everything else.
Yeah.
So yeah, working out, that's always, for me, that's like my chance to get away.
Yeah.
And, my wife is incredibly fit and active too. So doing all of her kind of fitness stuff, which is a lot different than mine. She does a lot of the HIIT training, and for me, I'm like, oh my gosh, like I don't want to do that, but she makes me do it anyways, which is good. So yeah, mixture of
So
strength training, bodybuilding, and then high intensity interval training, walking the dog, stuff like that.
Yeah, great. Have you found anything else to help you with some of that meditation stuff? Do you meditate? Do you take time to stretch? Like, since you can't get to the weights and do your heavier lifting and kind of zone out like that, do you feel like you get that same feeling when you do your wife's exercises, or do you find yourself having to do something else?
Yeah, I don't, and she gets really mad when I say that. We made like a little makeshift gym in my office. We have, ton of plates, but that's really it. We have a couple like dumbbells that we could add a little bit of weight to, but no bench or anything else. So she's like, oh, like she loves it because she's able to do everything. She's able to do her normal routine for the most part. And she's like, oh, do you want to work out together? And I'm like, yeah, okay, like let me just like listen to my music, because my music's totally different than her music, and that doesn't vibe. So it's so different, and I haven't really found that getaway.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of put a lot of my attention into like my social media stuff, and in a sense that is my kind of escape to just kind of focus on that, and I'll get lost in that and do that and kind of think about everything else. But yeah, for me, there was nothing like that. And it was the same with cycling. Cycling, I go out for a 6-hour ride by myself with my music. Don't talk, like I'm just focusing on myself, thinking, meditating. And with bodybuilding, it was the same sense of, all right, just I'm doing my own thing. Don't have to worry about anybody else. No problems.
Yeah.
Here,
there we go.
Yeah.
There you go. Do you still have your bike?
No, I don't. I haven't owned a bike since I retired.
Oh,
Just total burnout from it, which is it's not bad. It was it was something that I didn't want to do anymore.
Yeah.
In my opinion, if I couldn't do what I was doing then, I don't want to do it now. So it was just more of like that mindset. I wasn't 100% into it, so I was 100% out.
Gotcha.
But that's pretty much how I do things.
Yeah, no, that's all right. That's great. What are some things that you are doing or that you feel like you can do to push health and wellness in our community?
Definitely, man. Yeah. Just being present in the community. That's why I've been doing so many at-home workouts, because I feel like people, I didn't realize so many people worked out until all the gyms closed and everybody's posting about it. But just being able to, okay, like here's some structured at-home workouts that you could do, just body weight, and just be out in the community and social media if you can't be out in public. So if somebody posts something on Instagram or YouTube, I'll comment on it and I'll be present.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's right now, that's what's working. Once all this is over and we're able to go out in the public, just being around.
Yeah.
Just, going to different, whether it's health fairs or whatever else, if Morgan is doing one of her wind down Wednesdays or wellness Wednesdays, going to that and just being an extra person, just being in the community, helps supporting all my other wellness professionals.
That's great. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, I'm definitely on a kick of wanting to try and build and try and get more and more community health awareness, wellness awareness, just so that one, community is huge, and then health and wellness is huge. So combining the two so that hopefully people can feel a little bit better and live a little bit better life. So that's great. And thank you for all that you're doing. It's great. So tell me, again, something about yourself. What are 3 passions in your life besides your family, friends, and your career?
Definitely, man. Passions. Soccer.
Cool.
Proper football. So
Playing or watching?
watching. Yeah, I never played. My brother played in high school. And we are such a huge soccer family.
Mm-hmm.
So a huge, I mean, like hooligan. We're like hooligans. It's our team. So being Italian, supporting Juventus is huge, and something I enjoy doing, watching the games with my brother and all that stuff. Yeah, what else is there? So no family, no career. I mean, we're really big within our church. So being present in our church, and doing small group, and just for me, growing in my faith has been a huge thing, and something I've definitely have grown over the past couple of years for sure, and something that I want to continue to grow in. For myself, that's important, and I want to kind of show that how that affects me in a positive way to other people.
Yeah, that's great.
Third one.
Yeah, let's do more. Yeah, no more.
Let's see here. Let's see. I mean, I have no idea. I want to say reading, but the only thing I read is, health and wellness stuff, or
That's good.
So
yeah, I'll take it. I'll take reading.
yeah.
That would bring me to another question is, what are 3 books that you enjoy recommending or giving? And they can be about health, wellness, entrepreneurship, or they can just be Harry Potter, whatever you want.
Definitely. All right. So my favorite book of all time, Unbroken. So it was about Louis Zamperini. He was a Olympic runner. They made a movie about him.
Yeah, I heard about that.
He was in a POW camp in Japan. Incredible story, incredible guy. That's one of my favorite books, just to enjoy reading. So I actually have this one right here. Crushing It by Gary Vee.
Okay.
This is a great book. Kind of shows you how you could build your social media brand and how to kind of grow in the community that way, which was really helpful for me when I first started doing this. And then, for sports, or not sports, but like overall, like fitness, Becoming a Supple Leopard.
Okay, yeah.
It's a great book. I'm sure you've heard of that. It's
right, yeah.
like the gold standards of, functional movement.
Yeah.
So that's a great book as well.
Yeah, written by a PT.
He was. I know. That I think I read that book for the first time like 7 or 8 years ago.
Yeah.
And it's just as true now as it was then. So.
It's great. Yeah, it's a good book. Have you read any of his other books?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, I haven't either. I'd like to, though.
Yeah.
That's great. On the topic of books, I'm listening to a book now, and it kind of talks about mindset when it comes to your physical state, and it's kind of on the opposite end of what we were talking about, of people not having the mindset to do it. It's called You Can't Break Me by David Goggins. I don't know if you've heard of him.
Yeah, he was a Marine.
Yeah, he was a Marine, a Ranger. He ultra marathoner.
He lost a bunch of weight. Like, he's a huge motivational. So he's been blowing up on social media for the past few years.
Yeah, he's the audiobook is really interesting because he comments on the chapters, and so it's like,
oh, that's cool. That's interesting.
It's pretty intense, and so it's like almost that other level of mindset of like, I'm gonna push myself so hard, not like, can I get through this workout, but can I get through this ultra marathon, even though I ran a marathon or an ultra marathon a week or so ago. And it's like, it's just like my mind's just like, I can't whoa, like how do you, whoa, just, yeah, it's intense. Definitely an intense read. Highly recommend it just to hear the story and hear where he came from and all the things he went through. You know,
Yeah.
not necessarily something I think I could do, but it's definitely interesting to hear that type of mindset. And
You could use that mindset in like your own way.
right, exactly.
But like I take that from like different parts. Like, so I'm a huge Kobe Bryant fan. He's
Yeah.
probably my favorite athlete of all time.
Wow.
Still sad about everything
Yeah.
that happened.
Too soon.
Um, oh yeah, for sure. But he had that same mindset. I felt like where he was able to use that in different parts of his life, different chapters. And I feel like David Goggins does that very well, where he used that same mindset in the military. Now he did it with all these fitness feats that he's
Right.
accomplishing,
Yeah.
and it's so crazy what somebody could do if they put their mind to it.
Right. Yeah. And that's
So,
definitely that's actually that's the part that I just listened to is he's talking about that's why people are elite in what they do is because every day they do what it takes to find that extra edge. Like it's the person who it's the firefighter who's just off fighting fires for hours and hours, and instead of going home and resting, they go home and sharpen their blade. Or the or like Kobe Bryant would get done with practice and then ask his friends, or Michael Jordan, if you're watching the Michael Jordan documentary, talking about how he would go through practice, be done, and then try and get someone to play one-on-one with him just to get the extra reps and see where he was at. So it's yeah,
that's what it takes.
yeah, which is cool, which is very cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Anything else that you would love to kind of tell the listeners about you, your business, the field of health and fitness? Anything else?
Definitely, man. I mean, being, a fitness professional, what just because I say something doesn't mean that other, not all shoes are going to fit the same. What works for some people is not going to work for everybody. What I say may not work for you. What I think is going to work may not. But another trainer might know what works best for you. So the biggest thing is it's you, it's your life, it's your goals. Find somebody that's going to help you reach your goals appropriately. So don't always take the first thing that you see. Kind of find, it's like shopping for a car. You don't buy the first car you see. You kind of see what else there is. And I always say that, everybody that comes to me for consultations, like I would love for you to join me, but I want you to feel comfortable. So if you look to see what else there is, and then if you feel like I'm the best fit, then we can get started.
That's great. That's great advice. Is there any questions you have for me?
Yeah, I mean, we talked the other day, and I think it's great, what you're kind of doing from the physical therapist standpoint, doing the mobile PT, which is like really, really cool. I know a lot of fitness companies are starting to do that now. I haven't really heard of a lot of PTs doing that. So I feel like that's super innovative on your end, and I feel that's pretty awesome.
Absolutely. It
Not really
is.
a question, but more of a like that's cool.
Yeah, thanks. It is pretty neat. Something that I thought I was just going to kind of use as a way to kind of progress, and turned into something that I really actually enjoy, because in the clinic you have someone come in, you bring them to the table, you say, how's life, what's going on. Whereas with this, I'm going to the people's houses, I'm saying hello to their wife, I'm petting their dog, I'm having their kids come in on their treatment and do a squat or something with them, just to show them how easy it is for a 5-year-old to squat.
And
So it's really fulfilling to be able to bring that family aspect to it, and I really enjoy it. So yeah, thanks for the shout out on that.
Yeah, definitely, man. Definitely.
Do you have, what is the best way for people if they want to get in touch with you to ask questions, if they want to talk to you about, maybe getting help with you, or just to kind of consume any sort of information that you're putting out into the world? What's the best way for them to see you and get in contact with you?
Definitely. So our website, yourfitnesssolutions.com. That'll have background on, my entire company, our mission statement, all of that, what we have to offer. Right now, YouTube has been a huge factor for what we're doing right now. So MP Fitness is my YouTube channel. Right now we're posting 7 videos a week for the most part, three workouts, 3 at-home workouts a week, and then doing a couple of things here or there just to kind of get that overall holistic lifestyle
Yeah,
approach.
very cool.
So yeah, MP Fitness for YouTube, Michael Palevo Fitness for Instagram. So, if somebody's looking for at-home workouts right now, feel free, check them out. Let me know what you like, what you didn't like, all that good stuff. And then, yeah, if they're wanting to get in touch with me, Instagram's a great place. Go to that, send me a message on that, or fill out a consultation form on our website. So
That's great. Well, thank you for joining me. Thank you for all you're doing for the community, providing them with at-home workouts when people can't get to the gym these days. And it's wonderful. And everything that you're doing sounds great. And I'm so happy that I've been able to be in touch with you and interview you and showcase you.
Definitely. After all this is over, man, like you got to get the big group of everybody together and like network and just hang out. That's what it's all about.
That sounds great.
Cool.
All right. Until then, I hope everybody stays healthy and stays well.